All right, today we're going to be looking at a group of items that came from an estate sale that happened about a week ago in Signal Mountain, Tennessee, just outside of Chattanooga. And this gentleman had served in the Marines for 34 years, from 1950 to 1984. And he had retired with the rank of Major General. That's a 2-star general. And he had quite a wide-ranging career. Here's a picture of him. This is from, I think, around 1961 or 1962. I see that he's wearing a high-altitude flight suit and high-altitude helmet. And early in his career, he flew a lot more of jets, like the Crusader, and then he transitioned to being more of a helicopter pilot. And actually in 1966, he was stationed in Okinawa, and his helicopter company, which was Medium Helicopter Group, I think 361, and he actually flew 610 combat missions that were in Vietnam, Southeast Asia. Yes, it was Marine Medium Helicopter Squadron 361, and he was the strike leader. He was awarded 2 Silver Stars in 1966, in August and in October of 1966, along with 2 Distinguished Flying Crosses. And they had a bunch of different flight suits from him at the estate sale, but this was the only one that actually he had written his name on it. And also, this was the rank that he had when he was in Vietnam. So it's possible he could have even worn this flight suit when he was in Vietnam. And another thing that I thought was interesting was it had been customized. It's on this pouch on there. It looks like probably something would have gone through this here. I'm not sure what that would have been. But like I said, they had a bunch of flight suits, and of course over a 30-plus year career, I'm sure that he had quite a variety of uniforms, but I thought this one was probably the best one. And after he returned from Vietnam in 1968, the reason I had this model there was he was part of HMX-1, which is the Marine unit that in charge of flying the president on different trips, along with the president, other world leaders and dignitaries. And from 1968 to 1970, he was a pilot with that unit. And in 1970 to 1972, he was actually the commanding officer of the unit. And during that time, he flew 168 trips with President Nixon. And this was one of the books that was at the sale, all about HMX-1, and it showed the commanding officers throughout the years of the unit. And we see down here in the corner, there's at that time Lieutenant Colonel Richard A. Kuci. So from 1970 to 1972. And he had actually had a couple of letters that were from the White House. And so 2 out of the 3 are actually addressed to him as the commanding officer of Marine Helicopter Squadron One. And 2 of the 3 letters are actually signed by Richard Nixon's wife, Patricia Nixon. And I believe the 3rd one is signed by Robert Finch, counselor to the president. And in addition to, I said he had quite a few different books. If you're ever at estate sales and there's, or even garage sales, and somebody had been a pilot, you always want to look for these different pilot's pocket checklist. These are for different different planes and helicopters that he flew during his career. And it was interesting that, like, this is the type of helicopter that he would have flown when he was flying Nixon. And see, this one's from 1966. And then on the back of it, it still had this card in there. Welcome aboard Marine 1, Mrs. David Eisenhower. Now, Mrs. David Eisenhower was actually Richard Nixon's daughter, Julie, who had married Dwight D. Eisenhower's grandson, Dwight D. Eisenhower Jr. I guess he went by David Eisenhower. So that had probably been sitting in this this little manual for 50 years. And he said he had a wide variety of these different ones. You know, different, he said different helicopters, and some of these, they don't necessarily have to be like this one's from 1978. And sometimes you'll find ones from the 70s and even 80s that can be quite valuable. I've sold some in the past that were more of the jets, and sometimes get up to $600 for them. So they can be pretty valuable. Most of them are not going to be anywhere near that price, but there are some that are pretty expensive. And at the sale, they had a big collection of different books, like this one here, the story of Ray Davis. And Ray Davis was actually a Marine Corps officer who was awarded the Medal of Honor in the Korean War. And it was interesting that it was actually signed by Ray Davis. And this was also stuck in there. This was for when they were changing the name of the highway right outside of Signal Mountain again to the Charles H. Coolidge. And Charles H. Coolidge was another Medal of Honor recipient. And when he passed away, I think, which was last year, he was the last surviving World War II Medal of Honor recipient who had fought in the European theater. And we'd seen that he had signed this. So, you know, it's obviously pretty neat to find a couple of things signed by Medal of Honor recipients, and always something to look for at different sales is sometimes you'll find books that are signed by authors. And this was another one that was there. And this one's signed by not just the author, but also the illustrator. This was a book about the Marines and the American Revolution. Some, you know, really nice illustrations. And another thing he had there, don't know if that's actually, the estate sale people said that this was Major General Kuci when he was the commanding officer of HMX-1. I don't know if that's him or not, but it's interesting that Richard Nixon had actually signed it, whether it's him or not, in the photo. So that's pretty neat. And he also had, even though he didn't fly Ronald Reagan, he had this picture there signed to him. And it looks to be a real signature. I don't know. I don't think that's a secretarial signature, but it's definitely a live ink signature. It's not a printed signature on either one of those. So pretty neat to find some presidential signed items, along with some of his other items relating to, like I said, it was a 34-year career. And so I think that about wraps up the many different items that came from this sale. I hope you've enjoyed seeing this video. If you like to see videos relating to different estate sale finds and items relating to military related items. I try and do a bunch of different videos, not just the value on items, but also try and cover a little bit of history on the items and who they came from and their career. If you enjoy those type of videos, I encourage you to subscribe and to also check out, I've got about 15 other videos uploaded right now on other items that have come from sales. And that'll wrap it up. Thank you for watching.